Module 4. The brain, the intricate and enigmatic organ within our skulls. The brain serves as the epicenter of our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Understanding its workings is the central pursuit of physiological psychology, a branch of psychology that explores the neural mechanisms underpinning human cognition and behavior. Physiological psychology delves into the intricate network of neurons, neurotransmitters, and brain structures to unravel the mysteries of consciousness, perception, and motivation. This field employs various scientific methodologies, from brain imaging techniques like fMRI and EEG, to animal studies, to elucidate the neural basis of human experiences. Moreover, physiological psychology has profound implications for mental health and well-being. It offers insights into the origins of disorders like depression, anxiety, and schizophrenia, paving the way for innovative treatments and therapies. The brain cortex, the epicenter of human intelligence. The brain is an astonishingly complex organ, and at its pinnacle sits the cerebral cortex, the outermost layer responsible for many of our most remarkable cognitive abilities. The cerebral cortex is a convoluted sheet of neural tissue that envelops the brain's hemispheres, forming the familiar ridges and grooves known as sulci and gyri. This outer layer houses nearly 20 billion neurons, connected by trillions of synapses, making it the epicenter of human intelligence. It is divided into 4 primary lobes: the frontal, parietal, temporal, and occipital lobes, each with distinct functions. The frontal lobe, located at the front of the brain, is involved in decision-making, reasoning, and personality. It is also home to the prefrontal cortex, which manages executive functions like planning, problem-solving, and emotional regulation. The parietal lobe, positioned near the top and back, integrates sensory information, spatial awareness, and perception of the body's position in space. Moving to the sides of the brain, we find the temporal lobe, responsible for auditory processing, memory, and language comprehension. The occipital lobe, at the back, is devoted to visual processing, helping us perceive and interpret the world around us. The cerebral cortex's remarkable plasticity allows it to adapt and rewire itself throughout life, a crucial feature for learning and memory. This adaptability enables us to acquire new skills, languages, and knowledge, underpinning our capacity for growth and intellectual development. The significance of ventricles in physiological psychology. The field of physiological psychology delves deep into understanding the intricate connection between the brain and behavior. Among the many components of the brain, the ventricles, often overlooked, play a crucial role in regulating various physiological and psychological processes. Ventricles are the 4 hollow and interconnected spaces within the brain. These fluid-filled cavities are not merely structural features but actively participate in maintaining homeostasis and facilitating communication within the brain. Ventricles are a network of interconnected cavities within the brain that contain cerebrospinal fluid, CSF. These fluid-filled structures consist of 4 main components: the 2 lateral ventricles, the 3rd ventricle, and the 4th ventricle. The CSF within the ventricles serves multiple essential functions, including cushioning the brain, transporting nutrients, and removing waste products. Moreover, the CSF circulation within the ventricles helps maintain stable intracranial pressure, which is critical for proper brain function. Ventricles are not isolated structures but are intimately linked to the brain's communication network. They connect various brain regions through a series of channels, such as the interventricular foramen and the cerebral aqueduct. This interconnectedness allows for the flow of information between different regions of the brain, facilitating coordination and integration of sensory, motor, and cognitive processes. Dysfunction within the ventricles, such as blockages or excessive CSF production, can disrupt this communication network and lead to neurological and psychological disorders. The cortex and physiological psychology. The human brain is an intricate organ, with billions of neurons and trillions of connections, responsible for all our thoughts, emotions, and actions. At the heart of this complex neural network lies the cerebral cortex, a remarkable structure that plays a pivotal role in our cognitive processes and behavior. The study of how the cortex functions and influences our mental and emotional states falls under the purview of physiological psychology, a field of neuroscience that seeks to unravel the biological basis of behavior. The cortex is the outermost layer of the brain and is often referred to as the thinking cap of the brain. It is divided into distinct regions, each responsible for different functions, such as sensory perception, motor control, language processing, and higher-order thinking. Physiological psychology delves deep into understanding how these regions work in harmony to create our experiences and guide our actions. One fundamental aspect of physiological psychology is exploring how the cortex processes sensory information. For instance, the visual cortex at the back of the brain receives and interprets visual stimuli, allowing us to perceive the world around us. This information is then relayed to other parts of the cortex, where it is integrated with other sensory inputs and memories, ultimately shaping our perception of reality. Moreover, physiological psychology investigates the role of the cortex in emotional regulation and decision-making. The prefrontal cortex, often called the seat of executive function, is responsible for processes like impulse control, moral reasoning, and planning. Dysfunction in this region can lead to conditions like impulsivity and addiction, shedding light on the close interplay between brain physiology and behavior. Damage to the cortical region located immediately anterior to the central sulcus can result in challenges when attempting to regulate bodily muscle movements. The medulla oblongata, a vital hub of physiological psychology. The human brain is a marvel of complexity, and at its core lies the medulla oblongata, a small but crucial structure that plays a pivotal role in regulating fundamental physiological functions. This brainstem region serves as a prime subject of interest in the field of physiological psychology, where researchers aim to understand how our biology shapes our behavior and mental processes. Located at the base of the brainstem, just above the spinal cord, the medulla oblongata acts as a control center for various autonomic functions, such as breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, and reflex actions like swallowing and coughing. Without this unassuming structure, our very survival would be compromised. Physiological psychology, also known as biopsychology or psychobiology, explores the intricate connection between our biology and behavior. It delves into the mechanisms by which the medulla oblongata orchestrates our bodily functions and how these physiological processes influence our psychological experiences. For instance, when studying the fight or flight response, researchers examine how the medulla oblongata sends signals to release stress hormones, affecting our emotions and cognitive responses. Moreover, the medulla oblongata is involved in the regulation of sleep patterns, which is a crucial aspect of mental health. Understanding the neural pathways and neurotransmitters involved in sleep-wake cycles allows physiological psychologists to investigate sleep disorders and their impact on cognition and mood. Damage to the medulla oblongata could result in the cessation of respiration. Neurotransmitters and their effects in physiological psychology. Neurotransmitters are the molecular messengers of the brain, playing a pivotal role in regulating our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. These chemical compounds facilitate communication between neurons, or nerve cells, in the intricate network of the nervous system. Understanding the effects of neurotransmitters is fundamental to the field of physiological psychology, as it sheds light on the biological basis of human cognition and behavior. One of the most well-known neurotransmitters is serotonin, often associated with mood regulation and emotional well-being. An imbalance in serotonin levels has been linked to mood disorders like depression and anxiety. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs, a common class of antidepressant medications, work by increasing the availability of serotonin in the brain, thereby alleviating symptoms of depression. Dopamine is another crucial neurotransmitter, involved in reward and motivation. It plays a role in addiction, as drugs like cocaine and amphetamines increase dopamine levels, leading to feelings of euphoria. In Parkinson's disease, a deficit of dopamine results in motor dysfunction, highlighting the importance of dopamine in motor control. GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, is an inhibitory neurotransmitter that counters the excitatory effects of neurotransmitters like glutamate. An imbalance in the GABA-glutamate system can lead to anxiety disorders and epilepsy. Benzodiazepines, such as Valium and Xanax, enhance GABA's inhibitory effects, providing relief from anxiety. Furthermore, acetylcholine is essential for memory and muscle control. Its depletion is implicated in neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, emphasizing its role in cognitive function. Glutamate is the most abundant excitatory neurotransmitter in the central nervous system, CNS. Its primary function is to promote and enhance neural excitation, which means it generally increases the activity of neurons it acts upon. When glutamate binds to its receptors on the postsynaptic neuron, it leads to depolarization and an increased likelihood of an action potential, nerve impulse, being generated. This excitatory effect is essential for various cognitive functions, learning, memory, and the overall functioning of the brain. However, excessive glutamate release can be harmful. It is implicated in conditions like excitotoxicity, where excessive stimulation of glutamate receptors can lead to cell damage or death. This is relevant in neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and conditions like stroke. Glycine is an inhibitory neurotransmitter primarily found in the spinal cord and brainstem regions. Its primary role is to reduce or inhibit neural activity in the central nervous system. When glycine binds to its receptors on the postsynaptic neuron, it leads to hyperpolarization, making it less likely for the neuron to generate an action potential. Glycine's inhibitory effects help control muscle activity and spinal reflexes and play a crucial role in maintaining a balanced neural network. While glutamate is indeed a crucial neurotransmitter in the central nervous system and plays a role in sensory processing, it is not necessarily released by all sensory neurons. Sensory neurons, such as those responsible for vision, hearing, taste, and touch, use specific neurotransmitters and pathways to transmit sensory information to the brain. For instance, glutamate is commonly associated with excitatory signaling in the visual and auditory systems but may not be the primary neurotransmitter in all sensory neurons. Different sensory systems often employ specialized neurotransmitters and receptors tailored to their specific functions. The cerebellum. The cerebellum, a remarkable structure nestled at the base of the brain, plays a pivotal role in our ability to coordinate movement and maintain balance. In the realm of physiological psychology, the study of the cerebellum offers invaluable insights into the intricate connection between the brain and behavior. Physiological psychology, also known as biopsychology or behavioral neuroscience, seeks to unravel the complex web of interactions between the brain's physiological processes and human behavior. The cerebellum is a central player in this field due to its fundamental role in motor control. Composed of distinct layers of neurons, this small but highly organized brain region receives input from various sources, including the sensory systems and the cerebral cortex, to fine-tune motor commands. One of the cerebellum's primary functions is to ensure smooth, coordinated movements. It accomplishes this by constantly monitoring sensory information related to muscle length, tension, and joint position. This information is integrated with motor commands from the cortex, allowing the cerebellum to make real-time adjustments and corrections. This remarkable capacity for motor adaptation is particularly evident when individuals learn new skills or recover from motor deficits caused by injury or disease. Injury to the lateral region of the cerebellum leads to challenges in coordinating swift and distinct limb movements. The power of sleep. Sleep is a fundamental physiological process that has fascinated scientists and researchers in the field of physiological psychology for decades. This intricate relationship between sleep and physiological psychology highlights the profound impact of sleep on our overall well-being and cognitive functioning. Physiological psychology, a subfield of psychology, focuses on understanding how biological processes, such as neural activity and neurotransmitter function, influence behavior and mental processes. When it comes to sleep, this connection is particularly evident. The brain's intricate network of neurons orchestrates the sleep-wake cycle, with distinct stages of sleep revealing a complex interplay of physiological changes. During the rapid eye movement, REM, stage of sleep, for instance, the brain becomes highly active, resembling a waking state, while the rest of the body remains virtually paralyzed. This stage is crucial for processes like memory consolidation and emotional regulation. Conversely, slow-wave sleep, SWS, is characterized by deep, restorative sleep, during which the body repairs and rejuvenates itself. Physiological psychology research has also revealed the critical role of neurotransmitters, such as serotonin and dopamine, in regulating sleep patterns and mood. Imbalances in these neurotransmitters are often linked to sleep disorders and mental health conditions, underscoring the intricate connection between sleep and psychological well-being. Furthermore, the impact of sleep deprivation on cognitive function is a topic of significant interest in physiological psychology. Studies have consistently shown that inadequate sleep can impair memory, attention, decision-making, and emotional regulation. This research has practical implications for our modern, fast-paced society, where chronic sleep deprivation has become a prevalent issue. For example, a day packed with thrilling tourist adventures can contribute to a more restful night's sleep, potentially extending the duration of your slow-wave sleep phase. The central nucleus of the amygdala and physiological psychology. The human brain is an intricate organ, responsible for processing an array of emotions and behaviors. In this complex neural landscape, the amygdala, a small almond-shaped structure deep within the temporal lobe, plays a pivotal role in processing and regulating emotions, particularly fear and anxiety. Within the amygdala, The central nucleus stands as a critical hub for orchestrating physiological responses to emotional stimuli, making it a central focus of study in the field of physiological psychology. This particular brain area represents a prime candidate for pharmacological intervention aimed at alleviating heightened emotional responses in individuals. Moreover, the central nucleus of the amygdala is integral to the process of emotional learning and memory consolidation. It helps imprint emotional experiences into long-term memory, enabling individuals to learn from past encounters and adapt to future situations. Dysregulation of the central nucleus is implicated in various psychiatric disorders, such as anxiety disorders and post-traumatic stress disorder, underscoring its significance in understanding the physiological basis of mental health. Brain damage and physiological psychology, unraveling the complex interplay. Physiological psychology, also known as biopsychology or behavioral neuroscience, is a field of psychology that investigates the intricate relationship between the brain and behavior. Central to this discipline is the study of brain damage and its profound implications for understanding human cognition, emotions, and behavior. Brain damage, whether due to injury, disease, or other factors, provides unique insights into the brain's functioning, resilience, and adaptability. Brain damage serves as a natural experiment, allowing researchers to observe how specific areas or circuits of the brain are involved in various cognitive and emotional processes. Lesion studies, for instance, have revealed that damage to the hippocampus can impair memory formation, while injuries to the prefrontal cortex may disrupt decision-making and impulse control. These findings underscore the specialization of different brain regions in supporting diverse psychological functions. Physiological psychology also sheds light on the brain's remarkable capacity for plasticity. This phenomenon refers to the brain's ability to reorganize and adapt following injury. Research has shown that even after substantial damage, the brain can sometimes compensate by rerouting neural pathways or recruiting other regions to perform cognitive functions previously associated with the damaged area. Such insights have crucial implications for rehabilitation strategies and recovery processes in individuals with brain injuries. Meningitis is a serious medical condition that can lead to brain damage. Meningitis leads to damage to the brain because this disease produces inflammation of the meninges that interferes with the flow of blood or cerebrospinal fluid. It is characterized by inflammation of the protective membranes covering the brain and spinal cord. When the infection spreads to the brain, it can result in significant damage. Meningitis-associated brain damage can manifest as cognitive impairments, seizures, and even coma. Rapid diagnosis and treatment with antibiotics are crucial to minimize the risk of brain damage. Prevention through vaccinations is also essential. Understanding the link between meningitis and brain damage underscores the importance of early intervention and public health measures in safeguarding neurological health. The significance of apoptosis in brain development. Apoptosis, often referred to as programmed cell death, plays a critical role in brain development, shaping the intricate neural networks that underpin our cognitive functions. This highly regulated and orchestrated process is essential for sculpting the brain's structure, connectivity, and function. One of the primary roles of apoptosis in brain development is to eliminate surplus or unnecessary neurons. During early development, the brain generates an excess of neurons and synapses. Apoptosis steps in to selectively remove redundant cells, ensuring that the neural circuitry is refined and efficient. This process is particularly crucial in regions like the cerebral cortex, where precise connectivity is essential for higher-order cognitive processes such as memory, learning, and decision-making. Moreover, apoptosis is pivotal in shaping the brain's connections through synaptic pruning. As neurons establish connections, a surplus of synapses is initially formed. Apoptosis helps to eliminate weaker or redundant synapses, reinforcing the strengthening of important connections. This synaptic refinement enhances the brain's ability to transmit information effectively, promoting efficient communication between neurons. Furthermore, apoptosis plays a role in guiding the migration of neurons to their appropriate locations within the brain. During brain development, neurons need to move from their birthplaces to specific regions. Apoptosis helps to clear the path by eliminating obstacles and ensuring that neurons reach their designated destinations, contributing to the brain's proper organization. Brain activity. The activity of a brain region can be temporarily inactivated through various neuroscientific techniques, each offering valuable insights into the functions and interplay of different brain regions. One common method for temporarily deactivating a brain region is through the use of chemical agents. Researchers can inject specific drugs, such as GABA agonists, into the target region. GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter that suppresses neural activity. By introducing GABA agonists, the neurons in the targeted region become less excitable, effectively reducing their output and overall function. This method, known as pharmacological inactivation, allows scientists to observe the effects of silencing a particular brain area on behavior, cognition, or sensory perception. Another technique involves the use of transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, or transcranial direct current stimulation, TDCS. These non-invasive methods use magnetic fields or electrical currents, respectively, to modulate the activity of specific brain regions. TMS can induce temporary disruptions in neural firing patterns, while TDCS can either increase or decrease neural activity depending on the polarity of the current. Researchers can target these methods to specific brain regions, providing a valuable tool for exploring causal relationships between brain activity and various functions. Optogenetics represents a more advanced approach, using genetically modified neurons that respond to light. By inserting light-sensitive proteins into neurons within a target region, researchers can selectively activate or inhibit those neurons using lasers or LED light. Optogenetics allows for precise control over the timing and duration of an activation, enabling researchers to explore the dynamic nature of neural circuits and their role in behavior and cognition.